On this solemn day, we normally gather as a community to honor and express our gratitude for those who served in our nation's military and made the ultimate sacrifice, what President Abraham Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion. We've had to forego the gravesite flag placement in our Memorial Day ceremony, both events the community has come to expect and anticipate every year. But we gather today as we are able in order to uphold the tradition of paying our respects in this national shrine. Thank you all for being a part of this commemoration. I feel privileged to be able to join you this morning as we begin this observance. And now Dr. Victor Olivieri will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Kathy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olivieri. I want to welcome everybody who may be watching either this year or in future years. It's 2020 and we are here at the Memorial Day ceremonies here at the Presidio at the Golden Gate San Francisco National Cemetery. We are in the midst of a COVID pandemic and we are trying to carry forward the tradition that has happened since 1868 of Memorial Day services happening in this location very nearby. This year we obviously have competing aims. We want to stay safe. We want to keep people from causing any sort of public health problem. But at the same time, honoring people who have died while serving their country is something that's very, very important, and that doesn't take a year off. So just to do a quick orientation, that's what we're doing, a very small private ceremony. We have a group of veterans here who are going to shed some light on what Memorial Day means to them and to all of us. I want to thank the Presidio. I want to thank Kathy McCall from the cemetery, and I want to thank all these wonderful vets who are joining us today. James Schwab, Sergeant in the U.S. Army, two veterans who are currently trainees at UCSF, healthcare providers in addition to veterans, Amanda Egloff and Nicholas Evans, and of course Dr. Olivieri, President of the San Francisco Veterans Commission. So every year, Memorial Day is a heavy day. You feel loss. You feel the weight of 30,000 people who are no longer with us, and no year could that be more heavy than this year. But today we feel more than their loss. We feel people who weren't with us here in public. We feel the 2,000 people that typically gather here to do the ceremony. So this is a smaller crowd, but we definitely think that keeping the tradition going, something critical to honoring those who we've lost. So I'm going to turn over to talk a little bit more about the history of this ceremony and his own personal meaning of Memorial Day. Navy Air Crewman, Mr. Nicholas Evans.
This year marks the 152nd anniversary of the Memorial Day commemoration, either in or around the Presidio. We're going to lay a wreath, and I want to give some historical context first. This ceremony started in the aftermath of the Civil War in 1868. It was called Decoration Day then, when graves were decorated with flowers as a tribute. Back then, Army men and women living in the Presidio lay flowers in the cemetery just south of this spot to remember those who died in the bloody Civil War. In 1892, this plot of land became the San Francisco National Cemetery. They dedicated a monument here on Memorial Day in 1893 to those who had died in the Civil War. That year was the first large public Memorial Day ceremony, with thousands of people placing flowers in all the graves at National Cemetery. In 1924, the Presidio Memorial Day commemoration became the city of San Francisco's official ceremony. Fast forward to 1994, Presidio was no longer an active military base. Nonetheless, the tradition continues. The VA, the City of San Francisco, and Presidio Trust have been carrying on, giving the public and veterans and their families a chance to get together and honor those who died during service. We miss the thousands of people who typically gather here today. We're making sure to be safe, but we are also here to make sure that continuity and tradition is not lost. These commemorations were held during world wars, they were held during the Spanish flu, and they were held during times of turmoil and social unrest. We are here to honor people who have died during time of service and to remember those who have given so much during the service of their country. And we also bring our own remembrances of those we wish to be here with us today. On a personal note, for me, today is a moment of remembrance. I'd like to remember a fellow air crewman of mine who died in service, Blaine Webb. Died about 6 years ago today. If he was here today, he'd be telling jokes with us, but sadly he's not. And now it is my pleasure to introduce James Schwab, who will honor a fallen service member and lay a wreath.
Today we will pay tribute to one of our own, Major Adriana Porterbergen. Adriana was the wife of Heather Lamb. She was also the mother of Jacob Lamb, and she was the daughter of Joe and Shireen. Adriana was born in 1979 in Bogota, Colombia. She was adopted and moved to the United States in 1980. She was raised in Minnesota. As a kid, she loved playing with her three brothers and playing sports. She became a local soccer star, and her team won 3 state championships. She was known as the consummate defender, and her teammates called her the Iron Curtain. She joined the Air Force Office of Special Investigations as a special agent in 2002. Her job was to preserve the integrity of the people and the assets of the Air Force. She was intuitive, but also methodical. She could recreate a narrative, retell the story when no one else was there to do so. She also served deployments in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Her final mission in 2015 would be helping to secure the safety of Bagram Air Force Base. This job also included making relationships in the Afghan community to assess risks and enhance security. After one such meeting, in December 2015, a motorcycle drove by her and her team. The driver had been stopped at a checkpoint nearby. His body had been inspected for explosives. His motorcycle, however, evaded a thorough inspection. On December 21st, 2015, Adriana, along with Staff Sergeant Michael Cinco, Staff Sergeant Peter Taub, Staff Sergeant Chester McBride, Tech Sergeant Joseph Lem, and Staff Sergeant Luis Bonacasa did not survive the blast. At home in San Rafael, Christmas presents were wrapped and laid out for Heather and her son, Jacob, age 4, when they received the news. In the aftermath of her death, her colleagues were surprised to read her obituaries and learned that she was an advocate, that she and Heather had been invited to the White House to celebrate the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Adriana did not put up pictures of her trip to the White House or newspaper articles about herself. What they do remember is that she posted pictures of her son, Jacob. She laughed, telling stories about him. She would do anything she could to be there for his birthdays, school recitals, or pancake breakfast. When we lose a Marine, a soldier, an airman, a sailor, we grieve for the loss suffered by their loved ones, and we honor the families who continue to sacrifice over a lifetime for us. But we also suffer a loss ourselves. We lose one of our best and one of our brightest, someone who takes personal responsibility for the health and safety of our entire nation. Jacob is now 9 years old, living with his mother Heather across the bridge in Mill Valley. Adriana was a pioneer. She was part of a new generation carrying on old traditions. The closest to her say that she loved her work, that she loved her colleagues. But most of all, she loved Heather, and she loved Jacob too. Join me in a moment of silence.
Young Dead Soldiers Do Not Speak by Archibald MacLeish, 1941. The young dead soldiers do not speak. Nevertheless, they are heard in the still houses. Who has not heard them? They have a silence that speaks for them at night and when the clock counts. They say, "We were young, we have died, remember us." They say, "We have done what we could, but until it is finished, it is not done." They say, "We have given our lives, but until it is finished, no one can know what our lives gave." They say, "Our deaths are not ours, they are yours. They will mean what you make them." They say, "Whether our lives and our deaths were for peace and a new hope, or for nothing, we cannot say. It is you who must say this. We leave you our deaths. Give them their meaning. We were young," they say. "We have died, and remember us."
So we'll close our brief ceremony today in a moment. We're playing taps and raising the flag from half staff to full staff as is customary. Again, this is the 152nd consecutive year of a Memorial Day commemoration here at the Presidio. I want to acknowledge the people who have carried that tradition, who are with us in our community. Randy Champagne held this for so many years, then passed it on to Wally Levin, who cherished it for over a decade himself. And then to my colleagues at the Presidio, some of them do not have jobs anymore after this epidemic. And it's a tough time for so many people, including those who safeguarded this ceremony for a long time. Brad Rosenstein, Eric Blind, Barbara Sokolov, and many, many others. So anyway, I want to say a word to them, thank them for their work for so many years, making sure that this ceremony was so professional and looked so beautiful. So in closing, what I will say is thank you all for participating, thank you all for being here, thank you all for putting so much affection and love into this, even though it was a year where really we didn't have to do it. I do want to say to anybody who's watching again now or later, we will be here May 31st, 2021. God willing, we'll have 2,000 people in the cemetery again. So again, thank you so much, and now